Market update here on the 29th. Let's go over Meta first. I didn't look at the earnings, so I don't know what happened with that, but the stock is up after hours. Here is the count. I have this as a fifth wave. But on this specific wave right here, 1, 2, 3, this looked like an A wave, but then it's gone way higher than for a B wave would be, expected. And so on this one, the only thing I can really say is I wouldn't be touching it up here. It's gone from, it's at basically $700. Look where it's at on the standard deviations on the daily. Like, I don't care what the earnings are. Weekly, very top of the range as well. I would not be touching this stock. I don't know what the earnings were, but it should be in a fifth wave. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I would expect on that fifth wave, look at this, $700 would be what I expect it to top out at. That's basically where it's at. Would not be touching Meta up here. Tesla. So Tesla, same thing here. This is at the bottom of the standard deviations though. If you look at the hourly, I sold puts on this and I have a call. But the reason that I did not buy puts on this, well, obviously it went down a bunch, basically far into the move. And when it's this far into the move, there's just no point in even trying to buy puts here. It was down immediately after hours. I'm guessing that some big money bought in down there because it reversed right back up. Don't know what they said in the call. I haven't really followed the earnings on these very much, but I do know that this is a supply zone right here. It's a daily supply zone, and we're right into that right now. And so I think there's two different possibilities here. Either this is a second wave, and it's going to go much, much higher. It's going to go up to 580. So that would take it probably to 530. 590 is my target. Or this ends up being A, B, C, B. We get a C wave higher, and then it comes down here to 350. Those are the two options I see with where it's at right now, but it's in a supply zone too. So we'll see. It should reject out of the supply zone. That would likely be a wave 1. So wave 1 in here, maybe pull back here for wave 2. And so this could go all the way up here to like 430. It's probably, I would say probably going up here to 450. If this is going to make a 5-wave move, which it should be a 5-wave move. So I would say that gap up here at 450 is in play. Right up here at 453. So Tesla looks good. I think they missed some of their earnings, but who cares? The stock went up. It was oversold compared to like Meta. I wouldn't be getting in Meta now. Microsoft was also at the top of the range. It was up here, and now it's back down here to 421, which is actually one of the demand zones that I have marked right here. So I think that Microsoft is likely a buy right here. The count, though, I think this might have been the top of this move. So it might be the top of the move, or it has something like that to go. All I know is right now you want to be buying probably down here in this zone, 420 all the way down to 410. It's a pretty big sell-off. It's in a choppy corrective move, so at some point, after this move, at some point, we're going to see a massive move down. Could it have already started right here? It could have. If it started right here, you're looking for potentially something down here, 382, and probably down here in this box down here. Because when you get an impulse and then you get a bunch of corrective moves, eventually it's going to go like this. So Microsoft's not really that good here. but I think you could probably buy right here and get a bounce out of it. So originally I had this as ABC right here, and this is the end of the B wave, and then this is a first wave. I had it marked here. So it's very possible that this could be a second wave right here, and then we're starting that third wave down. So that would be 382, bounce, and then come down here farther. So we'll see, but it's also in a supply zone, so it might be a pretty good buy there as well. QQQ. So it pretty much is doing what I was talking about in the video yesterday. It hit 522. It backed off to 517. It's at 522 again after hours after finishing at 520.83. I think you could probably see something like this. Like that, and then I think we're probably going to sell off down here one more time, and then be ready to go higher after that. So pretty much range bound. Powell didn't really say anything too much. He was just basically dodging all the questions. And so again, I think that this is likely, let me zoom in here a little bit farther. Yeah, this looks like an ABC move to me. ABC. And then this could be a 5-way move. This could have already started the next move up. So if it already started the next move up, then this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or we get a move down here and then go up. I don't really see. Let's look at the timing of this though. Yeah, I think that this is likely. This one could be 5 waves though. I'm trying to figure out if it's actually 5 waves or not. I think it makes more sense to come up here first. But again, we're just pretty much flat after all those earnings. So we'll see. We're not dropping, that's good. And most of the earnings were actually positive. Tesla was positive. Microsoft dropped, but Microsoft will probably bounce back real quick. So going up like 1.5% shouldn't be that hard to get up here to the 528 gap fill and then come down to the gap fill at 505. One thing that I haven't been talking about is on the NASDAQ, the futures, the chart's completely different. So if we go to the 15-minute here on NASDAQ, so futures came down here way lower than QQQ. I just use QQQ because I trade that a lot. But this is the official, what I should be looking at for doing the analysis. So I might switch to that from now on just to make it more official. But this came all the way down here to almost break the low that on QQQ is way down here. And we didn't come any close on QQQ because this was during the market when it was open, and then this was pre-market. So if this drops down to 505, this will come down and actually break the low here. And so that will change some things. Let's zoom out here. I guess not necessarily change things, but it would actually, this would be A, B, C, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Potentially that would be the end of it. And then we could go up. So that changes my thoughts though on QQQ because that would mean this is not a second wave. That would mean this is also the C wave. So A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, overall C wave, and then we go up. So just to make that distinction clear, that those two are looking quite different right now because of how far lower it went in pre-market. But I think that it's more than likely this comes down to 505 and the NASDAQ makes one low down to like 20,600. All right, NVIDIA. So NVIDIA, I traded this a little bit today. I'm leaning towards the upside here, I think. One reason for this is this to me looks like potentially an ABC move. The only reason I say that, it could be 5 waves too, but the timing of it, so I like to look at the timing a lot. So we have 8:30 to 9:40, that was only an hour and 10 minutes, and then we chop sideways for like 2 hours, and then we come back down. Could it be a 5-wave move? It could be a 5-wave move too though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But the timing, the first 3 waves were shorter than this right here. So that actually says to me that it's more than likely this is a B wave and we get a short C wave down. So if that's the case, then that would make this likely a second wave or a B wave. So this is 1 or A, this is B or 2, and I'd be looking for the next move higher to, I think, going at least to 130. Yeah, like 130 maybe, 133. So if this is the second wave or a B wave, minimum target for the next move is 133. Let's say this is a 5-wave move. If it's a 5-wave move, then I would be looking for a retrace here, and then the move down to like 110 is still possible. I guess 133 would be about a 10% move. So maybe that doesn't make as much sense. Got to think about how QQQ is probably only going to go to 528. If NVIDIA goes up 10%, this is going to go much higher. So I will be watching tomorrow too for a second wave as well. This chart's kind of confusing right now because you got an impulse here. This can be an impulse. There's a lot going on. The one thing that I do know for sure is that whatever happens here, it's probably going to retrace to 141 at some point. So let's say this ends up being 5 waves down, like that. Just buy down here and then sell up here. If it ends up being an ABC move higher, invalidates the 5-wave move, and we're probably going to chop and then come up higher like that. And then that would make this whole thing ABC, ABC, and then we'd come back down here probably to 110 later. Those are the 2 options. Is it possible that this just goes on a crazy run higher, impulse higher? I don't think so anymore. Like I said in the video earlier, I think the 5 waves is done. We have 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. That's 5 waves to me. It's a diagonal. Diagonal means the 4th wave comes back into the 1st wave. And then we get this crazy impulse down, basically, that we're still trying to figure out if it's ABC or if it's a 5-wave move. But regardless, if you're long, then you should be good. So yeah, let's go over AMD. AMD was up and NVIDIA was down. First time for that. Oh, one thing I want to point out about NVIDIA is, let's look where it's at. It's at 123.70. And let's go ahead and divide that by 141, the gap fill. That is a 12.3% move. Now let's take AMD and look where a 12.3% move is. Okay, it's a little bit less, 14 bucks. But that takes us to 131. From the bottom, this was actually like a 20% move, I think. So that takes us to 131 up here into this supply zone right here. Why does that matter? Well, I think before I was actually doing this at 116 and they're both like, it would be like a 17% move. Why is this? Let's see, 123. That seems like it's more. 0.15. Yeah, I did the math wrong. This is a 15% move to 141, 142, which is where this gap fill is at. So 15%. Now let's do 15% on AMD. $17, so it takes us to about 135. That's about $2 off the weekly supply. Basically, my whole point was that these are probably on the same trajectory now. They're probably both going to go up about 15% from here because AMD has this weekly supply zone, and then NVIDIA has got this daily supply zone. And then both of them are going to go down after that. I've said this before. I think that AMD is going to go like this and then come down here to 93 bucks. So I just wanted to point that out. These probably both have about 15% upside from here, and then they're going to sell off hard. Still don't know what's going to happen after that. I think that the biggest melt up may be still to come. The thing that's really confusing is NVIDIA is already in the 5th wave. But what I think can happen is this could come up here. I'm the wrong one. NVIDIA could come up there when QQQ makes its 5-wave move, and this actually would go. So if it goes like this, and then that's an A wave, and then if QQQ decides to go up to 600, this could make a giant B wave. So, and make new highs. It's still possible it could make new highs as a B wave. It's all speculation, but I was just thinking about like how this would work out with AMD, because AMD should be going to at least new highs after it comes down here. So we'll see how it goes. I'm thinking too far ahead. I would just focus on these moves. I think AMD is going to 137 to 144, and NVIDIA is going to go back to 141. So Bitcoin, honestly, it looks to me like this is going to have another move down too. It looks like horrible structure. It looks like A, B, C, B. Another move down here like that. But that's still going to be a second wave here of an extension. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here. So that goes along with the overall market. We are still in this corrected move. We need one more move down to complete it, and then we can go higher. Coin's following the overall market. We have a gap down here, 255. We get an ABC move here, and now we're going up here for a B wave, and then we're going to come back down here, I think. And then that would be the overall second wave. And then it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and be finished. So we're not there yet. There's still got to be another flush. So be ready for that. But I think the next couple of days are probably going to go higher into the end of the week. And then we're probably going to flush into early February. So really, I think the best way to go about this without trying to go over every single stock and figuring it all out is just to watch QQQ. When it hits this area, you can just look at the individual stocks, see where they're at, and be like, all right, this is probably going to sell off from here because we have another wave down. So, BABA. I sold all mine this morning, right around $100. I went over this stock about a week ago, and I told you it looks exactly like an ABC move. A, B, C. And I said early February we would hit $100. We hit that zone. I sold all mine. If it goes higher, then it goes higher. But I think that this is likely finished. It should fall back, in my opinion. If it keeps on going higher, I'm not going to worry about it because it's at the very top of this range anyway. So that is my thoughts on BABA. Probably going to fall back. Watch out for people on social media. There's some people like saying it's going to go to 200 in March. It's like, are you out of your mind? There's no way it's going up 100% in 1 month. Like, that's just, I don't know who follows that stuff, but somebody on Twitter was talking about that. Let's see here. Apple's pretty steady. I think it's starting the first wave up, and probably when we flush, it will come back down here to 225. That's the daily demand zone. So that's a good buy there. Green Thumb, I bought some of this. I know this is not really a technical play. This is just more of an undervalued pot stock that's just getting absolutely slaughtered right now. Pretty good long-term play, I think, though. It's actually in a demand zone right now, too. So whenever this gets going, it could go up to 20, 30 bucks. You can make a lot of money. ENPH isn't doing really that much right now. It should be, though. It should be ready to go. So it needs to hold right here, 58.87 for this move right here. If it goes up into this box, you might want to sell because I think that there might be another wave down. So if it ends up coming all the way up here, then I would say it's finished. But right now, it's looking really weak. And so I'd probably be selling in here between 71 and 77 bucks. I saw this was selling off. I don't have a count on it, though. Is it still down? Yeah, it's down a bunch. I actually looked to sell puts on this, and I was like, nope, not going to sell puts on that. I think that's it for this video. I went over most of the stocks that are big in the market. So I will do a video tomorrow, but that's the update for tonight. Look for 528 on QQQ, and then we're probably going to go down to 505. So like, subscribe for more videos, and I'll catch you in the next one.